he looks fairly young to be a veteran, but he is a Navy veteran, and now a student at the University of San Diego. Joseph, let me just so we have a sort of a
Absolutely.
complete picture here, tell us about your story, because this is also a brand new story.
Much like Jules was saying, I knew I was gay when I enlisted on my 18th birthday, and I had to make that decision as well. I knew about Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and I chose country over self. I felt that serving was far more important than those very young years of my sexuality, and I figured I could put that off for however long. Unfortunately, like many people now, confident that I would be safe under the policy that don't ask, don't tell. As long as I did my job and as long as I didn't tell anyone, I would be perfectly okay. And unfortunately, that wasn't. Military investigation that's been certified by the Chief of Naval Operations reports that I was bound to chairs, fed dog food, ordered to simulate gay sex on video with military working dogs around, and several other things for an entire period of 28 months when all I wanted to do was serve overseas.
So how did it come to an end?
I eventually did get accepted to the Naval Academy Preparatory School.
You did?
I did.
Wow.
Three tries, and I guess they figured this guy really wants it. And my service had proven that I was a respectable and honorable service member. So I arrived there, and it was there that I had to evaluate. I had to evaluate how my service was rewarded, what the rest of my life under this policy would mean.
While you were at the academy?
I came out while I was at the academy. They put me on restriction for about 2 months while they figured out what to do with me. And here's where I got my education in Don't Ask, Don't Tell, because the first problem was, does he fit under the enlisted policy or the commission policy?
Oh, wow.
So it is far more forgiving for officers because of the money that's invested in them. And so that was highlighted to me, the hypocrisy of the policy. So it really doesn't matter that you're gay, because if you're valuable enough, we might want to keep this quiet. I can't put into words what it was like to listen to the commanding officers say, take it back and stay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. And that's really what, I mean, if anything, that's the moment that solidified my decision. Why? I'm just as qualified. I'm not committing a crime. I'm not having sex in public. I'm not bringing this to work. Why should I take? No, I can't deny. I won't deny that I'm homosexual, and I won't bring it to work. But I won't go on. And I mean, they brought it up. At that point, it was a decision. Do I leave on my own terms and be evaluated on my service in the Middle East, or do I wait until I'm a midshipman or an officer and have my entire life ruined over someone seeing me on a lunch date, going into my journal, or reading my emails?
Done in the service. What are you doing now, and what are you thinking of doing with this understanding that you have?
Sure. I am a full-time student because I understand that when we repeal this policy, if I don't have a degree to make a difference, it won't be much good. I won't be much good to the cause. So I am a full-time student. I'm a junior, and my graduation will align with a potential repeal a year from now. And originally, I wanted to become an officer for me. I wanted to. It was my own dream. And now, after having spent the past 6 to 8 months full-heartedly dedicated to educating people on why this policy hurts the entire country and everyone, gay, lesbian, straight, male or female, I understand that I feel a responsibility now that if I had anything to do with the repeal, then I need to more so get that commission for our young men and women in uniform who are going to be affected directly when we repeal. So they're going to need an inside man to make sure that the things that occurred to me when I was in the Middle East don't happen to them. The repeal can't be left alone to some of the hands that are not our best friends. This fear behind what happens when we repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell, or what are our motives, what do we want, what is it that we want that we don't have now. And what we want is basic job security and a dignified life. And I think that most people can really understand that. We want to make sure that all of our service and all of our training can't be thrown out over an email or a phone call, and we want to live like human beings and not like criminals when we're out serving our country. And I think that a congressman just recently on CNN, he's a straight congressman who said, I am more concerned with whether our troops can fly straight, sail straight, and shoot straight than whether they are. The argument for us not telling is, well, it would create animosity or it would endanger us. But Don't Ask, Don't Tell perpetuates the idea that there is fundamentally something wrong with the homosexual, or that our bravery somehow is less brave, or that our service is somehow less worthy. I think that Admiral Mullen said that it's about integrity. Absolutely, it's about integrity and it's about honor. There's gay blood on the grounds of Iraq and Afghanistan, and there are policies to deal with, like we were speaking earlier, there are policies to deal with sexual misconduct. So if this is an issue of sexual misconduct, then we already have policies to deal with that. We don't remove an entire demographic of highly skilled, highly critical service of gay men and women in our military because of this idea of sexual misconduct. We have policies for that. And it's really, even for our veterans, when I went to D.C. and I saw veterans lining back to World War II who are gay and lesbian, it was so humbling, and it made me so sad that they're not honored the same, and that their service is not the same. That's what it comes down to with Admiral Mullen saying integrity. Integrity, both the integrity of the individual to live with integrity, and for the institution to perform and to stand for integrity, because this policy is a direct contradiction of the core values of our military. And that's why, I'm sure everyone here today and myself, will always say that we love our military and we love our country. We're not out to attack neither the military or our country, but the policy that is embarrassing both. Exciting to me is, while I would love to see a repeal tomorrow, I welcome this 12-month period of education. We are a very large country, and I really think that it's exciting to me to see these useless arguments for why we should maintain the repeal get the exposure to the national public for why they don't have a leg to stand on. Why saying that we're in 2 wars is ridiculous, because it's more imperative now that we not lose troops. That we're in an economic recession, therefore we can't afford this policy. Or even better yet, that it will affect unit cohesion, and there is nothing that can prove it. On the other side, there's 53 years of military reports that will say that it's not affecting unit cohesion, that it won't affect unit cohesion, and we'll get one more report that will solidify that. That I think that it's far more beneficial to this country and to national security to rid that small demographic of people out of our military than the large demographic of people.
A ban on bigotry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
like that
novel idea.
For Senator McCain and Duncan Hunter and all these proponents of unit cohesion, those are the detriments to unit cohesion. Not our men, not our women, not our minorities, and not our. I really like bringing it. My experience with advocating for the repeal has really brought it back to me to the Harvey Milk concept of, for as long as we're an alien demographic of people that no one has any attachments to, we won't succeed in anything and we won't gain equality. But when people realize that we're taking the bullet, that we're willing to take the bullets for them in combat, that we are their brothers, their sisters, their cousins, that's when we move ahead. And that's what, like I said, that veteran service, that's what legitimizes our cause and our call for action.
Well, it's interesting.